guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are going to get into the topic of buying a house and mortgages. I have Liz Doyle, who is a mortgage consultant with First Bank. She came on to talk to me all about basically how to avoid a mortgage disaster. We talk about some really interesting things. We have some funny stories in there as well, some of the clients that she's worked with. But we talk everything from mortgage myths. We talk about financial mistakes to avoid. We talk about the different types of loans that you can expect that you might not know about. So if you or somebody that you know is in the market to buy a house in and around KC, be sure to tune in, send this episode to that person. And I think you're really going to enjoy the energy and the passion that Liz shows for what she does because she really, truly loves the job that she has here. So I hope you enjoy. Well, I am so excited to have you on. We met through Sarah, so shout out to Sarah. Actually, I know
Sarah's my cousin, Sarah Scoop. Yes, that's right.
What I call her.
Yes, I call her that too.
Yeah, we were just talking about how we met at LC Capitan, which was really fun. And then you and I ended up talking about coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
And this is great. So Liz Doyle, you are mortgage consultant.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
With First Bank. And we're going to talk all about what you do in the world of mortgages, but it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really enlightening, educational, all the things. But you're kind of falling into my category of like industry experts, which is actually one of my favorite things to do with the podcast is to have people come on and talk about like what they do day to day, what they're super knowledgeable in, what they can really help guide people to improve any kind of facet of their life. So this is going to be really fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us who you are.
Well, I am Liz Doyle. I have been a mortgage lender for over 10 years. I am at First Bank right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mostly work in the Kansas City area, even though I can do lending in almost all 50 states.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So when you work at a bank, you have the ability to lend in all 50 states.
Got it.
If you are like with a mortgage company, then you have to get like state specific licensing.
Okay.
But banks have the ability to lend in all 50 states. I love what I do. I mean, I just sometimes feel like I live and breathe mortgages.
You're just dreaming in dollar signs.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. Why did you decide to get into it? What led to this? And you've done it for a while,
yes.
I think, right?
Yep. So after I graduated college, this is really funny. So after I graduated college, I was living in St. Louis and I was working as a server and I would always go, so this was a long time ago, and I would always go into the bank across the street and deposit my tips from the night before because I didn't want to bring them all in.
Smart.
So the branch manager at the bank, it was Commerce Bank, he used to actually like bring my tip money over for me to the restaurant and like handwrite me a receipt and bring it over. So he would deposit it for me because I was late. I ran late. So and after I graduated, I was like, shoot, I need to get a job. And, I mean, I was making a lot of money as a server, but I'm like, I need to get a job, you know, that has benefits and things like that. And I had said something to the guy from Commerce Bank, and he's like, oh, well, would you like to be a personal banker? Because we could hire you as a personal banker at Commerce. And I was like, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So I got that job, and I really kind of gravitated towards the lending side of it.
Okay.
I was doing a lot of home equity loans, which are like second mortgages on your house. And I eventually moved to Kansas City and started doing mortgages.
Did a job bring you here?
No, I just kind of I just moved from St. Louis to Kansas City. My family was here, and at the time I was with UMB, and it was just an easy move for me.
Okay.
And I love Kansas City.
Oh my gosh,
a lot.
Right? That's why I love doing this. It's like people can talk all day long about what they love about the city, but also working here too.
Yeah.
Which is great. So.
Yeah, and Kansas City, it's great, and the people are great, and it's a great place to be.
So you talked about how you love your job. Let's talk about what you love about it.
Okay.
And then let's get into who the right people are that
Yeah.
What I want to do is for people who are listening to this, who should be listening to it, who should
Yeah.
be sending this to somebody that this would really be
Yeah.
relevant for them, who does that look like, and then what they can expect to take away from
Yes.
our episode.
Yes. Okay. So if you are thinking about buying a house in the near future, I would definitely listen to this podcast right now.
Near future
Meaning like, I don't know, within like the next year.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
6 to 12 months.
Yeah,
Awesome.
6 to 12 months.
Okay.
I also, any real estate agent that is interested in partnering with a lender who's going to take care of them, I would love to listen to this podcast.
Perfect.
I think that those are the groups that are really going to benefit from it.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I was doing my research on you, of course, I saw like these amazing reviews that you have, and people are genuinely just so kind about what they're saying the experience was like with you. And there's obviously you can look up, reviews in many different industries, but what really differentiates you? Like, what's your superpower of being a mortgage consultant here in the KC area? Like, how do you help people go through this process to avoid any kind of disaster or like make it really easy? Because my gosh, we know it's like one of the most stressful things you could ever go through.
So the first thing I do is I try to tailor myself to the client, to the person. I do have a big personality, but not everybody does.
We love big personalities around here, so love it.
Right? But like, I have to make sure that I'm giving what the client needs. You know what I mean? So I always have to make sure that they're comfortable and that they're heard. Communication is huge. So like, for example, I always invite every single person that reaches out to me for a loan, I invite them to come meet me in my office.
Perfect.
And that can be really helpful, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, because there's just so much to go over. And one thing that I like to do is make sure that I'm not going over anything too quickly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when you go, I know about, there's all these mortgage terms like escrow and recasting and PMI, and the list goes on and on. And one thing that I always tell my clients, and I can always feel them just kind of like relax on the other end, is that I talk about this stuff so much. Like, I could talk about it in my sleep. So if at any point I go over anything a little bit too quickly, it's okay to be like, hey, Liz, you got to back that up. You got to explain that again, because I don't understand. And that's okay. It's kind of like when we go to the doctor's office and, I didn't go to medical school. So if a doctor comes in and they're throwing around acronyms and this stuff, it's
like a foreign language.
You have to water it down for your people, because they don't do that for their career. People buy houses, however many times in their life, but it's not a day in and day out activity.
Yeah. And I kid you not, I called our bank last week because we had a situation where our mortgage payment shot up in August, September, because we had an escrow shortage.
Right.
I have no idea how it works. I literally was like, I don't understand. Is it going to go back down? Did we do something wrong? Is it taxes? Like, it is very difficult sometimes for me to understand this stuff. So you would be the perfect scenario for me to be like, dummy it down and help me understand what is escrow, what is happening with it. Because there is so much that I am never in my lifetime going to work directly in finance to understand it all. So thank goodness, like, you could make that very just more cool, calm, collected.
Yeah, and that's the lender's job.
Yeah.
So I remember I worked in an office once, and there was a guy that sat next to me, and I just remember him trying to explain escrow to someone on the phone, and he was very, very frustrated, and he hung up and was like, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "It's your fault. It's not that you're the teacher. You have to. The way you said it isn't working. You have to think of a different way to convey that to the person on the other phone, because it's your job to make them understand. Whatever you got to do, you have to explain it to them like they're a 5-year-old.
Yeah. And you said that they should be heard. We are completely living in a world where people need to be seen and heard, and it's clear that that's even in like the world of buying a home, not
Yes.
just my feelings in a relationship.
Absolutely.
So, and I think you also mentioned too that people come into your office. Where is your office, by the way?
My office is in Leawood.
Leawood. Okay. Does that mean that people are still like doing it over Zoom or video, or
So-
I didn't know if that was a COVID thing.
You know what, Mindy? I do whatever the client wants.
Okay.
Because sometimes, and this happens a lot, that people are okay with Zoom and people are okay with just a phone call.
Yeah.
But especially for my first time home buyers, I mean, I just think that there's something about just being together in an office.
Yep.
And if they can't make it to my office, then I'll meet them at a coffee shop or whatever.
Yeah.
It's whatever they want. And sometimes I have amazing clients that are like, how do you want to communicate? And I'm like, no. You tell me how you
You're
want to
number one.
communicate. Yes.
Yeah.
Some people like text. Some people like email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's such a benefit, obviously, to being in person and people gravitating towards like your energy and your confidence. And so it makes total sense,
Yes.
and I would expect that you're probably somebody that people become friends with, like
that
long
is-
after you've worked with them and closed.
It's like really awesome to be able to have, and like agents I work with, I mean, they're not only my agents, they're my friends.
Yep.
And I work with some amazing agents and I am so thankful for them because that is, I get a lot of referrals from agents, and it is just because they know me, they trust me, and they know that I'm going to take care of their clients.
Yeah.
But it gets deeper, and it gets deeper with my clients too. Not to sound like a big weirdo, but like I will do anything for my clients and the people that I work with because I just want them to have good experiences.
Yeah. Well, and obviously, you're going to work off referrals too. So
Yes.
that's going to go a long way. Okay. So right now, Kansas City market, what's kind of happening with what you're seeing? Is there anything trending? Are you seeing a lot of new home buyers? Are you seeing a lot of people investing? Like what's happening right now?
I'm so glad you asked that because what I'm seeing a lot of right now is a lot of step-up buyers.
Okay.
And what I mean by a step-up buyer is a buyer who has outgrown the house they're in and wants something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And this leads me to like something that I want to talk about so much.
Okay.
And that is a word called recast.
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 Okay. Educate me.
Yes. So if you're a person who has a house and you're getting ready to sell it and you want to buy a new one, the ears like ding, 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 antennas should go up.
Okay.
So many people right now have homes with a ton of equity in them, and they're not really going to get that equity out until they sell. Well, also, we have to remember that when we go to buy a house, in a perfect world, we would be non-contingent.
Okay.
And what non-contingent means is not contingent on your current home selling.
Right.
Well, then you think to yourself, well, wait, like let's say I have $200,000 in my current house and I need that to buy my new house. So then I start to think of creative ways to help them with that. And first off, to buy a new house, we can do it with as little as 5% down.
Okay, that was one of my questions.
Yep.
Okay.
So there's always been like an idea out there about having to have 20% down.
Even for a new home buyer, you
Yeah,
don't need to worry about that.
No, and that's a whole
Okay.
like we could even do it as little as 0 down. But like let's just talk about a person who's bought a home before and you're going to buy a new house. We need to have at least 5% down. Okay. So people can get that from savings. They can get it from their retirement. They could get it from a gift. They could get it as a home equity line of credit on their current house.
Okay. Good to know.
But they need to do it preemptively.
Okay.
So if a person called me today and we were having like that initial conversation and they're like, we want to buy in 6 months, all our money is in our current house, we don't really have any other money. What do you suggest, Liz? I would say let's get a home equity line of credit on your current home. And then we do it at my bank. There's no fees for it.
Okay.
And that is basically giving you the ability to access that equity with a check.
Got it.
So then
So you said preemptively. Is there a way you could do it wrong then, where you
you
do
can't,
it out of order?
Yeah, because you can't do it once you're selling your house.
Okay.
So
make
once
sure you don't miss that.
Yep, because once you've listed your house for sale, you can't get a home like with us, you can't get a home equity. It gets messy. You can't get a home equity line of credit on a house that you're getting ready to put on the market or have put on the market.
Yeah.
But even like a couple months preemptively, and that is an okay source for down payment.
Okay.
So then you have just turned all that equity you have into your home into cash.
Love it.
And
I'm assuming you see a lot of people who don't know that that's an option.
Absolutely.
We want to get the word out.
And then what happens is it's kind of that we're doing everything in a rush. And we can do that. I can roll with the punches.
Sure.
But
not ideal.
Yeah, but if we could just make everything easier, that's what everybody loves.
Yeah.
And it just makes me feel so good to see somebody do the plan and then execute it. And it's like, oh my God, this was amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to that whole 5% down thing. Okay. So Mindy, like, you're like, okay, so we're buying this new house. We're putting just 5% down. Well, then what? Well, at First Bank, we keep our own loans. So we don't send them out for servicing. So when the person sells that house, let's say they make like $200,000 off of their sale, they will call me and I will set them up with my recast department. It is a wonderful young lady named Lauren. So they'll have like
Shout
a
out to
human
Lauren.
being. Yeah, shout out to Lauren, who they will call and say, hey, I'm ready to do this recast. So what she does is takes that $200,000 and applies it towards the principal and redoes the loan at a smaller payment.
Okay.
And it costs $250 to do it.
That's it. Yeah,
And
for that major bonus.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at any time, you could just do a principal reduction. Like you could at any time on most programs, like let's just say 30-year fixed loan, you could do a principal reduction. However, it's not going to redo your payment to make it smaller. And that's the huge benefit of the recast.
Okay. Yeah, because one of the things that I want to know is, for you working with a new client or repeat, whichever, what are some of the mistakes that people make that cost them more money?
Yeah.
And then, of course, on the reverse, what people can do to save more, make more.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that I see that costs people more money that's extremely, extremely cringe for me is... I'm not going to name any names, but if you have a lender who's able to advertise during the Super Bowl, which I think you know what I'm talking about.
Fill in the gaps.
That money is coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's coming from fees and rate.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I'm not going to be able to advertise during the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah.
So
no plans in the near future.
Yes. You just have to think about that. Like,
so look at the fees, look at the fine print of...
Look at there's a thing called a loan estimate.
Okay.
And I recently had somebody who I saved almost $10,000. Yes.
Wow.
It was a refinance, and refinances can be really, like, you really want to look, like, sharpen your pencil and look at your loan estimate because when you're buying a house, like, you're going to write a check at closing, and you're really very like, it's very fine. Like, there's no escaping it. You're bringing in the money. But, like, on a refinance, it's rolled into the loan. So more than likely.
People are maybe just overlooking
it. Oh, they're just looking at the rate, and they're looking at their payments. And this is what they want their payment to be. And since they're not bringing any cash to close, it's rolled into the loan. If you don't look at it, you could be really getting raked over the coals. And I have seen some very disturbing figures out there that people have sent me. And I'm like, no. Like, this should not be my deal's like 10 grand cheaper.
So are they bringing you something that they already got?
Yeah, it's called a loan estimate.
Okay.
Yep.
And then can you just do that with as many?
Yes.
Vendors? I was gonna say vendors.
Yeah, lenders.
Lenders. Thank you. As many as they want, so then they can come to you and they realize, oh, this is the way to go.
Yes.
Because we're gonna save that.
Yes,
got it.
Absolutely. And you'll see very quickly, like, who's totally out of left field. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, good reputable lenders will be very close to each other, and then the ones that are just collecting a lot of fees are going to stand out like a sore thumb.
Okay. So for somebody who's looking to buy in the next 6 to 12 months, what do they need to do to connect with you? What do they bring to the table? How does that start?
Yeah.
Like, what do they need to know to start mentally preparing or creating their checklist of things?
So the first thing is we have our initial consultation.
Okay.
And once we talk, I send them a link to apply, and then we set up either a call or an in-person meeting to go over like what their payment's going to be, what their budget looks like, what their credit looks like, if there's anything that they need to work on. We have all those conversations.
That was actually a question I had for you. Do we need to know anything about credit scores?
Yeah.
Do you need to have a certain credit score to buy a house in KC?
So like it's always lender specific.
Okay.
My company, our minimum is 580.
Okay.
And they'll be, it just depends on like other factors. So like, if you have not the best credit, but then you have like a lot of money in savings and you're putting more money down, you're going to have a better chance of getting approved for a loan.
Right.
Now, there is one thing, which is this happened like in the beginning of my career. So over 10 years ago, I was doing a loan for such an awesome guy. We had a great relationship. And I did not know that he was planning on getting engaged during the process. Okay. Which that's fine. That's totally fine. However, in lending, we look at something called debt to income. So we divide your monthly debts, including your new mortgage payment, into your monthly income. And that can't go over a certain threshold. Okay. So at the place I was working at the time, we did something called a soft pull on the credit like 2 days before close to see if any new trade lines had been opened or anything had changed in the buyer's financial situation. So my processor was like, somebody went jewelry shopping.
It's kind of a big investment.
Yes. So he had financed something from like Zales or whatever, one of those jewelry places, and it put him over the limit to where he no longer qualified for the house because of what we assumed was the ring. So I called him because that just kind of made sense. So and he was so cool. So I called him and I really, cared about him. And I'm like, hey, so it looks like you opened a new trade line with a jewelry store. And he was like, oh yeah, I asked my fiance my girlfriend's my fiance now. She said, yes. Yeah, I put the ring on a new trade line that I opened. And I'm like, okay. Well, first off, like, congratulations. Congrats. I'm so glad she said yes. That's amazing. But we're gonna need you to return that, okay?
But wait,
I'm like,
return it and then buy it again later.
Yes. I'm like, listen, I'll call her with you if you want. I know that she's going to be cool with it, but we just need to take it back just until we close. We're closing in 2 days. I'm sure she wants that house, Yeah. So just call the jewelry store, tell them just to hold it for you, and then then return it so it doesn't show as a new payment on your credit. You'll qualify for your house, and then you go back there and you take her back there and get that ring.
Okay, so we need transparency.
Yes.
Let's make one big decision at a time, not within.
So Mindy, after that happened, I have on my congratulations email when people go under contract, it says like highlighted, do not make any purchases, do not change jobs, do not do anything to impact your financial profile between now and close.
Yeah. Things that we as the general public are not thinking about is happening on the back end.
Yes.
Have you had any other crazy stories like that? Other words of wisdom of like, whatever you do, don't do this because it'll.
I did have one guy that told me that he had done that his wife did change jobs. She became like self-employed, which I mean, here's the thing, like sometimes it will be okay, but you just have to run it by me first. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times it
needs to be a very trusting, open dialogue.
Yes, it has to be open dialogue, and you'd have to just run it by me. Yeah, but he had said that that he had actually researched it and he decided that he didn't need to tell me, and like it still ended up being okay. way.
Yeah.
So, but like sometimes, it couldn't. So
Yeah.
I'm on the buyer's side, 100%.
Yeah.
I am on your
You
side.
want to make it work for them.
Yeah.
For sure.
I want to make it work.
Yeah. Any mortgage myths that we should
Yes, let's talk about that. Let's talk about mortgage
myths. Okay.
Okay, the biggest mortgage myth that I've ever heard recently is the 20% down myth.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
we just talked about
Yes,
that. Yeah.
yes.
Did that change at a
No,
certain point?
I don't know, but I do know, like, even my mom recently was like, well, don't you have to have 20% to buy a house?
Mm-hmm.
And no, that's not the case.
Okay.
Like, we have programs that you could put 0 down. Another thing that has has kind of like a boogeyman throughout the years is PMI, private mortgage insurance.
Yes, let's talk about
Yeah,
that.
people are like, I don't want to buy a house because I don't have 20%. I don't want to pay a PMI.
Yeah.
PMI can be ridiculously cheap. So,
Okay.
like crazy cheap. So, like,
And what is PMI? What
Oh,
does it
thank you.
do?
Sorry. Oh my God, I'm doing the acronyms. PMI is private.
I remember it from like my early days of like the first place that I ever bought, but I can't even remember. Yeah.
It's private mortgage insurance.
Okay.
So it's what you pay whenever you don't put a full 20% down
Okay.
because it insures the lender. And some programs don't even have it. Like VA programs do not have PMI, which is a huge benefit for them.
Yeah.
But it's really not, it's not as bad as you would think. I recently had a first-time home buyer. The purchase price was $300,000. He put 3% down, and his PMI was like $60 a month.
Okay. Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's where the confusion comes from about the 20%, that if you don't put 20%, then you do have to know that you'll pay PMI.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
across the board.
Yes. And
Okay.
then it gets cheaper for like conventional financing, not to get too like specific, but it gets cheaper at 5% increments.
Okay.
So like it would be like a little higher at 5%, it gets cheaper at 10%, and crazy cheap at 15%. Like I've seen people like $15 a month or something.
Seems pretty nominal at that point. Okay.
Absolutely. Especially when you look at what that could keep you liquid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think I saw too, so you have different programs for, or correct me if I'm wrong, but do you have programs for new home or like first time home buyers or military?
Yeah,
veterans?
yeah.
Is that a
So
thing too? I think that's really important to note.
Yes, I think it's great to note. We have first-time home buyers that we could do as little as 0 down. Especially Missouri has a really good 0 down program that I utilize a lot. Our veterans, we have amazing programs for veterans. Veterans can put 0 down, and also my bank does not even charge them a lender fee.
Okay.
So our usual lender fee is like, I don't know, like maybe around like $1,400 or something. And we don't even have that for veterans. So that's
Just
a really
thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
That's
It's a
awesome.
really great benefit.
Yep.
I love helping veterans, and it's awesome that we do that for them.
Yeah. Do we need to know anything more about mortgage rates and how to prepare for them? Can you change them over time? Like, how do you?
Well, so mortgage rates, they change. Sometimes I tell people it's just kind of like gas prices.
Yeah.
Like
Good analogy.
they go up and down. Sometimes what people like to do is pay points. And what paying point, that's like some lingo that you'll hear about in the mortgage world. And that is paying money up front for a lower interest rate.
Okay.
And that's also something that people need to keep their antennas up when they're shopping mortgage lenders. Is somebody might be like, we have a 5% interest rate. Mm-hmm. Well, that's way below market right now. So that sounds great. Well, what they might not be being transparent about is the money that it costs to get that rate.
So again, going back to the fees that are in the fine print that you want total transparency.
And that would be in that loan estimate, just like what we talked about earlier.
Yep.
That they're mandated to disclose that, but you will find, unfortunately, some fast talkers that, it's kind of like that. If it sounds like it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yep.
So if somebody throws out if someone throws out a rate that is aggressively below market, you need to make sure you're reading through everything. And that's right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So going back to people who are looking to purchase a home in the next 6 to 12 months, what do they need to, what's some words of wisdom that you can give to them to prepare working with you or anybody else who's involved in the process?
Yeah. So first off, to definitely call me. I would love to help, and we'll go over what your budget looks like. And also, you really need to be working with a real estate agent who knows the market, who knows where you're buying. I have a lot of really knowledgeable real estate agents that I work with on a day-to-day basis, and they can really help you to get what you need.
Yeah. I have
That's
another
very
question.
important.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully support that too, just my own experience.
Yeah.
When working with you, is there like an average timeline of like how long people would generally be working with you from start to finish? Or does it really just depend on?
Well, so I would say the average contract time is about 30 days. That's just a kind of like a
good rule of thumb.
That's a good rule of thumb. Sometimes it's shorter. I mean, I can get a deal done in like 2.5 weeks if we need to. It just depends on what the buyer and seller have negotiated. Sometimes it's a long close. Sometimes it's like 60 days or something.
Sure.
You know, it just depends on what their individual situations are. But I really pride myself, and I have an amazing team.
Yeah.
I need to give a shout out to my team. I have a boss named Steve who, oh, by the way, I kind of did a little rehearsal of this podcast right before I came.
I want to hear about this.
Yeah, and he told me that I was kind of coming off as like I was teaching a class or like doing a presentation.
Well, it sounds like you are fully capable of doing that then, so maybe we should find a spot for that.
Yeah. And he's like, you need to relax. It's a podcast. You're not like in the front like doing a presentation. But anyways, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then I have an amazing assistant named Crystal and a processor named Jen, and we are just like a well-oiled machine.
Love it.
We work together so well, and at any time our clients need us, one of us is going to be there. So I think it's really nice to know that it's not just me. I have these other people that are so important to me that support me.
Safety in numbers. Yeah. And the fact that you love who you're working with too is going to show through, of course, everything that you're doing too. Okay. So people, if they're moving into KC, they can get in touch with you. You said that you can sell in all 50 states, but I'm sure you're not selling in other states besides Kansas and Missouri?
So I mostly lend in Missouri and Kansas, but like I have family that lives in Illinois that
so you're fully
I help a
capable
lot.
of that.
Yeah,
I just think that's interesting to note because I did not know that was possible. I was thinking you'd have to like do something in all 50 states to pass, whatever.
Yeah. And you do
license.
if you're not backed by a bank.
Okay.
But First Bank, which is based out of St. Louis, Missouri, is a bank. So I recently just had clients move to Texas, and I was able to help them. And I helped them here in Kansas City, and they relocated. Hi, guys, if you're watching or listening.
I hope so.
Yeah. And so that's really neat that I didn't have to like pass them on to someone else.
Good to know. I love that. Good little nugget there. Okay, we're going to do some fun rapid fire.
Okay.
But anything that we haven't covered that you want people to know about working with you, anything happening in the world of mortgages, Kansas City, real estate, things that are important to you that you might want to add in?
I think the best advice I can give is just preemptivity and communication. And when you're working with a lender, you want somebody that can communicate very straightforward to you and be transparent. And you can tell within speaking to someone very quickly if that's what you're going to get.
Sure.
And that's one thing that I really feel that I bring to the table is I am going to be very straight with you and help you as best as I can.
Yeah. And again, I just want to go back to earlier what we talked about, vouch for you, the fact that we met and it's like we became fast friends out at the restaurant. And so I think that is such a testament to how people's interactions, what they can expect working with you. I mean, we were just communicating like so freely and had such a fun time. And then we obviously have been in communication
Absolutely.
since.
I feel the same about you.
I'm a firsthand testimonial to what it's like to, work with you in a different sense. So I love that.
Thank you, Mindy.
Okay. So ready for some rapid fire?
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. Beach house or mountain lodge?
Beach house.
Okay. Anywhere in particular?
I can't think
put
of
you on the spot.
Yeah,
it's okay.
you put me on
We can come back to it.
Okay.
Okay. House style: Cape Cod, mid-century modern, or ranch style?
Mid-century modern.
Love it. Me too. New build or fixer upper?
New build.
Okay. Heated floors or infrared sauna?
Heated floors.
I would have gone sauna. Although I want heated floors too. Okay. Can't we have it all?
I just get a little bored in the sauna.
Well, it's fair. Yeah. Okay, penthouse downtown or a lake house?
Lake house.
Okay. Bad neighbors or bad layout?
Oh my goodness gracious. That's so hard.
It's a tough one. I knew it.
I would say, okay, so which would I rather have?
Would you rather have bad neighbors
would I
and a
rather
good
have
layout,
bad-
or would you rather have good neighbors and a bad layout?
I think maybe good neighbors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good answer. We'll figure out the layout
Yeah.
later. Okay. Barbecue, tacos, or McDonald's?
Tacos.
Okay. From anywhere in particular?
I love Taco Bell.
Me too.
Yeah, but
I would be a burrito girl.
But I would get a bean burrito. That's
Okay.
exactly what I was about to say.
I love Taco Bell's bean burritos. Just sorry, shout out. Okay. Favorite Kansas City restaurant?
Antler Room.
Love. That's
Yeah.
always one of my top answers too. Favorite cocktail lounge or bar that you like to go to?
Oh my gosh, I don't really go out that much anymore. Where do I like to
That's
go?
okay.
You know
don't
where I
have one, we
used to
don't.
always go to is
Where?
Graham and Dunn.
Yes, I love Graham and Dunn.
Yeah, I don't go there that much anymore.
You can
but
never
yeah.
go wrong with
Yes,
Graham and Dunn.
Graham and Dunn.
Plus, they have a great patio.
Yeah,
So, love
yeah.
that. Okay. Where can people follow you, connect with you? Obviously, I'll put all of that into social and everything. But tell us where they can find you.
So definitely you can call me. I have a website. My phone number is 913-687-0674. I'm right here in Kansas City, and I'd love to talk to you and help you.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much. This is so fun.
This is so
I
fun.
love learning a little bit about a lot. That's
Yeah.
kind of my whole MO. And, I knew with having you come on, I was going to learn a few new things in this world. And
you
so
think you
I really,
did?
yes, I
Okay,
definitely
awesome.
did. I mean, I think there are even some of those things that are out there that I would assume too. Like I had the question, do you have to put 20% down? And
Right.
things like that. So I just think it's really important for people to know that there are different options. I didn't know that there were programs for veterans. I didn't know that you could put 0% down. I don't know because I'm not
Right,
currently in the
'cause
market.
It's not, yeah.
But I think there are a lot of questions. It's such a complex kind of
Yeah.
space for people that don't work in it. And I think to show your passion and your expertise in it really will come through. And so I'm excited for people to hear about it.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me, Mindy.
Yes, thanks for coming
It
on.
was really fun.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in and finding inspiration in these incredible stories. If you love what you hear, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, leave a rating, and share the show to help these Kansas City voices reach even more listeners.